Hello and welcome to a pastel Kooky corner of YouTube today. I thought I would take you through my pastel acrylic gouache. I love my bright colours, I love my shiny things, as you know, but I also have a great love of pastel colours, and amazingly enough, Turner Colourworks, who are based in Japan, do a superb range of pastel acrylic gouache. I do know that Holbein do them as well, but these are specifically labelled as pastel, which I found was quite useful, especially as pastel colours are hard, well, not hard, but harder to mix. It's nice to have an actual mix ready-made when you need them, and this set I have found have been amazing. I've had these for about a year, probably a year and a half now, and I've been testing them out on different things, and I love them. They are very, very opaque. They water resistant, obviously, because they're acrylic gouache, but they're also, when they lie down, they're very matte on the surface when you paint them in. So that's why I love them so much, because other things can then go over the top of them, like my beautiful gel pens. So I can use my gel pens over the top of these with no problems whatsoever. So I thought I would just show you the different colours. I've got a swatch already made at the side of me because I've got some other things I want to show you as well, and I didn't think I'd have time today to go through all of these. There are 15 of them in the set, and they cover the whole gamut of the colour range, as it were. So they're really, really amazing. I love them. So let me just bring in my swatch set there. So you've got a pastel pink, pastel lilac, pastel rose, pastel sand, pastel enamel, pastel lemon, a pastel orange, and a pastel peach. Orange and peach, kind of, that's the lighter version of that, clearly, but it's just nice to have a mix if you want to do something specifically with a peachy colour. So it's ready to go, so it's perfect for that. As you can see, it's very, very matte. I can feel it. It's not chalky, but it's definitely a flat surface, which is really nice. So then going into the bottom row, we've got pastel olive, pastel emerald, pastel green, pastel lime, pastel blue, pastel lavender, and pastel marine. And if I bring this up, you can see there's no shine on them at all. Absolutely none. They're perfectly flat and deliciously lovely. I show you these because I've kind of been gathering a few pastel bits of late, and I thought, because I've had these for a year and a half or thereabouts, and I've tried them out and I thoroughly enjoyed them, that you might like to know that these are an actual set that you can get. You can't buy them, I don't think you can buy them as a full set, but you can actually, I got these from Jackson's, and I just went into Jackson's and picked everything that said pastel out of the Turner Acryl Gouache. I would say that it's on a par to the Holbein. It is cheaper than the Holbein as well, and I think it's probably the same amount in each one. I'm trying to see if I can see any amount in there. It does tell you on the Jackson's website. Oh, 20 mil, there we go, right in the top there. So if I grab out one of my acrylic gouache, these are also 20 mil, so it is actually very comparable to these. But as I say, the Holbein do tend to come out more expensive. As I say, the Turner are a cheaper brand, but they do a beautiful set of Japanesque gouache, which are awesome, and those are probably going to be my next set of things I'm going to buy. On the Holbein ones, I do find that you've got a lot of detail on there about the actual colour, which you don't have on the Turner one, but to be honest, I'm just so happy with them that I don't care. I don't care that it's not got all the detail. No, it probably has it on the Jackson's website anyway, and you can probably find it out. But those are the first things that I would like to show you in the pastel range. Now, this thing that I'm going to show you now is something that I've done. You know, I was doing the Lollipop Flowers. Well, I decided to have a go at a pastel version, which is this one here. It needs a little bit more work, I do think, but at the moment I'm quite liking it. So we've got the Acrylic Gouache, not Acrylic Gouache, the Turner one in this. I've also got the other thing that I'm going to show you that I used as background, but I'm going to keep that just quiet for a minute because I'm going to bring that in a moment. I've used some of the Souffle Pens. Remember we had a look at these a few videos back when I showed you my gel pens. These are the Sakura Souffle pens. They dry, they call them souffle because they dry with kind of like an edge, but you know, sort of like they raise a little bit, they're raised off the surface, but they do dry in a pastel way and they are great. Love those to bits. I've just recently updated my stock of those because mine were quite old and some of them were getting a little bit difficult to restart, so I just went onto Colt Pens and redid the ones that were causing me a hassle. So that's a little piece of artwork that I did with these, with those, and with the thing I'm going to show you next, which I was quite excited about. I didn't even realise it was a thing until I watched Lindsay of the Frugal Crafter, who is amazing. And if you haven't actually watched any of her things, please go over to her website, not a website, her YouTube channel even, where she is very good at going through everything to do with different art supplies and things that you might be interested in. And I love watching her her videos for all the goss on the bits. So I will pause this here, grab the next thing. I'm going to clear my desk, grab the next thing that I want to show you, and I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I must stop shaking lamb's tails. It's not good for the lamb, but here I am. And I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Oh, I do amuse myself, even if I amuse no one else. Okay, so the next thing that I got, and this is purely based on Lindsay's video regarding the said thing that I'm going to show you. You have seen these before on my channel. I have done a video when I was comparing them with Neocolor 1s, 2s, Marabou, crayons, and something else which I can't remember, but if you look back in my videos you'll be able to find that particular video. And this is the thing. It is Stabilo Woodies. A lot of mixed media artists have embraced these because they are rather lovely when you want to just play around with colour. The thing about these is that they are like a pencil, a crayon and a watercolour all in one, because they are water soluble and really lovely to work with. Now what I need to do now, because it says on here pastel colours beautiful on dark paper, so what I need to do is grab myself somewhere in here. I have a very it's already here. I have some little black post-it notes which are great for just sticking on here to show you what the colours look like. So without further ado, let me stick a couple of those down, and just to be safe I'm gonna whack a bit of that on as well, just to keep it down. Oh, hello pens, you wanted to come in my shot. Well, you can't because it's nothing about you today. Taken 2 there. So let's line these up so that goes down there. A little bit of pretty stick on that just to hold that down. I could have actually grabbed a piece of black paper, couldn't I? But you know, I have to be awkward. But these black post-it notes are just as good. Okay, so this is the packaging they come in. They are very similar to packaging where you get, I've got the big 18 set. If you go back in my videos, you'll be able to see where I have looked at that. So I've got the 18 set of these. And these, if you look on the inside, it comes like that. And in here, you will need this, by the way. If you buy them open stock, you will need to buy this as well. She says, throwing it on the floor. Come here, child. Right, here it is. So this is the pencil sharpener. Obviously, because it is such a big barrel, this is definitely required unless you're going to try and sharpen it with a scalpel or knife, etc. In which case, prepare to lose some fingers or skin off fingers. I do advise that you get the sharpener. So if you buy one of the sets, especially this smaller one, you will get this included, which is a big bonus. In some of the sets, in the bigger one that I got, you got the sharpener and a brush as well, which is amazing, but not necessary. But brush is not necessary, sharpener is. Okay. I think the packing in this is all integral, so I'll just take them out. Shaky, shaky. Pop that on one side. Let me move this along. Bring in the goodies. Okay, so these are the Woodies. They're quite chunky. They're made for children, so they're made to be indestructible, basically, so they can't break, and they're not going to fall apart. And literally, the size of the inner of one of these, as Lindsay said, is similar to a Neo Colour 2, so they're very comparable size-wise, with the amount of colour width that you get. What is not comparable is, if you look at the end of these, you can see that they're closed off. My friend Lindsay she took one for the team, basically. She absolutely did. And she used a sharpener and sharpened it down until we got to when we hit where that ends, because you can't see, obviously, where it ends on this. And what happened was about a quarter of the pencil is wood. So from there to about, I think she said the middle of the barcode, from there to there is wood. So that has not got product in it at all. So in that way, they're being a little bit cheeky, quite deceiving a little bit. But saying that, the product is still well worth it, and I think it's quite a nice thing to hold as well. It's quite chunky and just easy to grab hold of, and you can play around with it to your heart's content. The colours that they put in the pastel set are really good. I haven't got any of these. I had got all the other ones. You can buy another set which is like a combination of some of the basics and then the pastels added in. But for me, it didn't make sense because I already had the colours that were included in that. I think you got a brush as well with it. So I was happy to note that they actually just did the pastels on their own, which are here. So without further ado, let's do a little try. So a scribble of that one there. They're quite creamy. They do have a little more shine than the Neo Colour 2. Let's try it on the black now. Again, laying down quite nicely. Yeah, really good. Okay, so let's stick with some kind of a sequence here. So we've got this, it's like a peachy colour, like an in between a red and an orange, pastel orange, let's say that, shall we? They do lay down really well on the black paper. That's good to note. And let's have a go with the pink here. Yeah, supremely creamy. I'm just seeing they don't smudge greatly, but that's not what you need from a Woody, I don't think. Similarly with the Neo Colour 2s, they're not really a smudgy kind of thing, but what they do well. This is really lovely. I love this colour. This is awesome. Beautiful. Again, lays down really nicely on black paper. I'm sorry if I'm shaking you about, people. Shaking all over. Let's go with this aqua colour. Really nice to lay down. Superb. I'm going to wet them in a moment and just see how they look on both the white and the black papers. Let me pull that bit further in there. So the last one in this pastel set, you get 6 in the set, and this is a nice pastel green. And I did use these as a background on that piece that I just showed you, in a similar manner to what I'm going to show you now. Let's grab my water. Okay. And where's my big brushy brush? This is a nice brush. This is a Raven 3/0. It's a Jackson's one. And I just love this for adding water. It holds so much water as well, which is great. So let's try that. Let's wet these. Yeah, they do wet down really nicely. Let's try on the black as well. Yeah, again, pigment I would say is not as strong as your Neo colours, but you can always lay more down, and I think in Europe these are a lot cheaper than they are. From what I was hearing from Lindsay, these are a lot cheaper in Europe than they are actually in the USA. I don't know about other parts of the country or other parts of the world, should I say. But for us, I think they're a lot cheaper to buy here in the UK. They do break down fairly well. Some of them are going to drift into each other in a minute. So yeah, they wet down. You'll see more about that when it's dried. I'm probably using quite a bit of water. Maybe if I use less water, we'll get more of an idea. So yeah, wettable. Yeah, I think less water is the way forward, to be fair. Hard to say how these are going to be when they dry until we can see them. I can show you on my background though, of the thing that I did. It's going into each other. But yes, these do wet down. As I say, not as pigmented as your Neo Colour 2s, but still a worthy addition to your stash of mixed media. If you love mixed media the way I do, then it's always handy to have different things. And I don't think that Neo Colour do pastels. I think they've got some that are similar, but these are specifically a pastel colour, and I really quite like that. So there they are on the page, and as I said, this is the thing that I did earlier. The background is the Woodies. Now this is on a watercolour paper, so obviously it's got some texture to it, but they did wet down quite nicely. What I did do is, when I had done the initial wash of them, so I laid down the colour, so literally just laid down the colour and then washed them over. I'll try and show you on here in a minute actually as well. Laid it down, gave them a wash, and then added some more in. If I wanted to increase the depth of colour, then I could go back in. And also, if you go back in on something wet, or even if you dip them in water, you don't want to dip the wood in water, but just the tip of them, you get quite a creamy, it's quite creamy, it's quite nice. Can you see that? It's lovely. So you can actually just dip the tip, don't dip the wood in, but the tip of the pigment. Oh, that goes down really nicely. So for that background, I literally just laid down scribbled in some colour. I'll just show you with a few of them. We can see how well they blend as well. So let's go with a yellow. Just add that on the end there. Let me just dip that in as well. I just want to try it. Oh yeah. So that works really nicely. If you want to add some colour in, get nice creamy base of that. That works really well. Okay, so we've got this little swatch here. I've just scribbled on, which is how I did the background of this. I don't want too much water in because I think that kind of kills it a little bit. But you can see how that's now breaking down. Breaks down rather nicely, and they do blend into one another. Keep making the mistake of putting a little bit too much water on my brush there. The tad, just a tad. But they do blend. So they blend into each other quite nicely, so you can get a gradient if that's what you wanted. But with the pastel ones, I'm just quite happy that they do them as a pastel. So really happy with those. Making a mess on my desk. Give my brush a good rinse out and dry it off on my rag. Pop it on one side, stick that on the snake to dry. So this is kind of drying up. It does fade quite a little bit there, but if you go back into it, it's perfect. Also good for starting off a page where you just want to lay down some colour. But yeah, really happy with the fact that they are now doing pastels, and I would, even though we know the sneaky Stabilo people have finished it to about there, and that's to where your pigment goes. Thank you, Lindsay. I would still get them, and I still think they're worth it. This set actually, at the minute, in the UK, we've got 6 pencils there. I got these from Colt Pens, and Colt Pens price for these at the minute is £8, which I think is pretty good. So it's just over £1 for each one. Pound something, 15, I don't know, something like that, which is great. You can buy them open stock. I'm not sure how much they are open stock, so if you just wanted a couple of them just to try them, then I think Colt Pens do them open as well. But for that set, for £8, I thought that was glorious, so I just went in there because I needed a few other things as well. I think Colt Pens has free delivery over £30, so if you wanted to save up and wait for a few other bits to add in, I have a feeling that these are going to go quite quickly because they're really lovely. They're really lovely people. Anyway, it's a Friday, so I hope you enjoy your weekend. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and click the bell, and if you do that, you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will see you next week with another colourful thing. Anyway, have a great weekend. Bye.